I'm going to talk about some of my past settlements for people who are on a bicycle and hit by a car or truck and injured. JZ Helps of Florida Injury Law Firm. I'm attorney Justin Ziegler of JZ Helps of Florida Injury Law Firm. This is a diagram from one of our actual settlements that settled for $100,000 where a bicycle rider was riding across the street. It happened at night and a car made a right-hand turn and hit the bicyclist. Now, the bicyclist fractured one of the bones in her face and she had surgery, and she also had a collapsed lung. USAA was the insurance company for the pickup truck driver, and they had $100,000 of insurance under the policy. Unfortunately, our client, who was from another country, did not have any uninsured motorist insurance, although the people that she was living with, they owned a car, and their PIP insurance paid $10,000 of her medical bills. They wrote a check directly to the hospital for that. Now, in many cases in Florida, one of the reasons why settlements may be smaller than the fair value of the case is because there's limited insurance. In this claim, the total claim may have been worth more than $100,000, but because that was the limit, the insurance limits, and there was no other assets or money to go after, we settled for that amount. This is an accident diagram from a case that I handled where a gentleman was on his bicycle. He was going straight. A car tried to beat him and made a right-hand turn. He hit the side of the car, flew off, and struck the pavement. He claimed that a compression fracture in his spine and a herniated disc were caused by the accident. As is very common in Florida, the car that caused the accident only had $10,000 in bodily injury liability insurance. Fortunately, the bicyclist had uninsured motorist insurance. They paid $42,500 to settle the case. The combined settlement was $52,500. There was no surgery involved in this case. This is a diagram from a case where a gentleman was riding a bicycle heading in this direction. A car that was already stopped at a light pulled out and hit him while the gentleman, he was actually on a sidewalk and he stopped and he kept going and the car pulled out and hit him. He claimed that his tibial plateau fracture was caused by the crash and that a meniscus tear that he had was caused by the crash. State Farm insured the careless driver. We settled the case for $33,000. He did not have surgery. His doctor said that he healed perfectly. He had very, very minimal lost wages that he wasn't paid for, and out-of-pocket medical bills. Now, the tibial plateau fracture that he had, let me show you where the tibial plateau is. It is right there. It's beneath the kneecap, and the meniscus is here, which is a ring in the knee. This is a diagram from a case where my client, a bicycle rider, was riding on the sidewalk this direction. The police officer said that she was riding against traffic. A car that had a stop sign hit her, and the police officer put fault on both of the parties and did not issue a ticket. However, the good news for her is in Florida, a ticket is not admissible in a personal injury case. So even if she would have gotten a ticket, that can't be used against her. But what can be used against her is her failure to look and make eye contact with the driver and possibly have avoided the accident. And what you do in Florida is you say, what's her percentage of fault? You get the total value of the case and you subtract her percentage of fault from the total value. So the case settled for $17,500 because she had stitches beneath her chin and stitches on her abdomen. Now, generally speaking, all things equal, you're awarded higher amount for pain and suffering if you have stitches on your face as opposed to beneath your chin. In Florida, in most cases, if you're on a bicycle and you're hit by a car and a truck, you either need a permanent injury or scarring in order to get money for pain and suffering. One of the reasons why State Farm, who insured the driver in this case, paid $17,500 for this case is because we argued that our client had permanent and significant scarring. In another case, a gentleman was riding a bicycle on the side of the road. He claimed that a vehicle cut him off the road. He fractured his wrist and his elbow. Now, the driver that allegedly ran him off the road, left the scene, which unfortunately happens way too much. However, my client, the bicycle rider, had uninsured motorist insurance under his car insurance policy. And as you've seen from one of the other cases that I've mentioned, because he had uninsured motorist insurance coverage, that pays for him since we argued that the other driver was at fault. So uninsured motorist insurance kicks in from your personal vehicle if you can prove that another driver, whether it's a hit-and-run driver or not, caused your accident, and you were injured and the other driver either does not have insurance or doesn't have enough insurance. And one of the nice things in Florida is you don't need contact with the vehicle in order to make an uninsured motorist claim. Even if the vehicle drives off from the scene, you don't need any independent witnesses as you do in some other states. Now, even though his case is worth more than $10,000, because he just had $10,000 in uninsured motorist insurance, we settled for that amount. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please let me know your comments below. Do you think these settlements were fair? Do you think they were not fair? Is there anything else and any questions that you'd like to ask? The purpose of this channel is to give you so much personal injury information that you're on an equal playing field with the insurance company when you're negotiating the case. You need to know just as much of them if you want the best chance at settling your case for fair value. I'm attorney Justin Ziegler of JZ Helps, a Florida injury law firm with our office in Miami. Thank you so much for watching.